Hello friends, this is Wendy with Love and Stampin'. Today we are making 4 cards. Yes, I said 4. We're going to start with the Rays of Light stamp from Stampin' Up! And we're using the Misty stamping tool for my stamping. And that little sticky mat is the way to go when you're using a big background stamp. I will link to it below the video. FYI, I am now officially an affiliate with Misty, and I have more big news coming next week about that. But when you use the link, I do get a little credit. Yes, this is approved by Stampin' Up! Yes, I have the emails. So let's get that out of the way right now. Any of the links you use with me for Misty, purchasing anything Misty related, is an affiliate link. Okay, it doesn't cost you anymore, but I do get a small percentage when you use those links. So they're below the video. And yeah, we stamped an Azure Afternoon, and then we cleaned our stamp with a chamois, and then we're going to ink up in Lemon Lime Twist. I almost said Lucky Limeade. All these L's. And then we are stamping. I love Lemon Lime Twist. I'm so happy they brought it back. Of course, all of these things that I'm using today are available now. Well, we'll get into that in story time. Never mind. I digress. Back to this. So we've stamped both of our cards. I'm lining them up so that the images are at the same edge and then, or spot, however you want to say it. And then I'm going to cut along the edges to trim these down a little bit. So I just wanted to trim them down so that they would be the same size. And you do have to make sure when you're doing this technique that if you stamp like a background image, it's got to be lined up correctly. So here you can see that the Azure is continuous from the Lucky Limeade. So because you're going to die cut from the center of these, everything has to be lined up. So that's why you need to use a stamp positioning tool, because you have to stamp your backgrounds exactly the same way. So here we're going to die cut. By the way, if I didn't already say, this is called the switched stamping technique, or at least that's what I've seen it called. And I am just die cutting and then removing. I did run this through 2 times because I stacked them together to make sure everything cut perfectly aligned. Like, that's super important, especially when you have such an intricate, like with lines, you want all those lines to line up. So here I'm cutting down a piece of Azure Afternoon cardstock to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, or 4 and 5, sorry about that, 4 inches by 5 1/4. And the Rays of Light images are cut at 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, now step 2. I have to make the card bases. I really should have done all that before I started the video, huh? Anyways, so we're going to take our die cut piece here, and we are going to pop it onto our background. I'm using multi-purpose glue for this. You can use whatever glue you want. And there's lots of options here. So let's talk about options really quick. Now, because of the technique I'm doing, I'm going to glue this flat, and I'm going to glue the opposite color insert right where the hole is. However, you can see this is very beautiful. You could stamp a sentiment in the middle of this and heat emboss it in white. Would be very pretty. Here is the technique we're doing though. So we're popping that in. The other thing is this would make a really cute shaker card. So just throwing out a few ideas that are not related to this technique for this scenario in case you decided you wanted to try something different. So here I've just got another piece of the Azure Afternoon, and I'm adding this piece that I've die cut from. And then I'm going to pop the Lemon Lime Twist die cut into the center. And then I've got my opposite switched stamping. That's all it is. So you can do this on solid cardstock with white heat embossing. Like if you have a bunch of floral images, you could, the options are endless. You could use solid cardstocks. So like you could, for example, I could have stamped this image in Versamark ink and white embossed it on a piece of Azure Afternoon solid cardstock, and then done the same thing on a piece of Lemon Lime Twist solid cardstock, and then die cut and switched. So tons of options, and I would love to see what you do. So if you try any of these techniques, please, please, please send me a photo in email so that I can share it or see it, or, you know, whatever. I would love to see what you do. And yeah, that's it. I want to see what you guys do if you use these techniques. I love this technique. So this is the first 2 cards. Now we're going to do the sentiments at the end of the video. I actually filmed this video in 2 completely separate segments, like a week apart. So my nail polish color changes, I think, and what I'm wearing changes. But you get the point of this. And the cool thing about this is you always get 2 cards for 1. So you're kind of just repeating exactly the same steps twice, and you get 2 cards. For me, I love that. That's like more bang for your buck, right? So I think that that's fantastic. And I'm always out for ideas. Now here, I could have flipped this panel upside down so that it was like on the opposite side. You know, lots of options. All right, here we are. We're using that sticky mat again inside the Misty. And we are going to use the spiral die stamp. And it's D-Y-E, die. So like tie-dye. So we're going to use this, and we're going to use new colors. So we're going to use Moody Mauve and Wild Wheat. Those 2 colors actually go together really beautifully, and I thought it would be fun to make a couple cards using that color combo. Here you can even see that my video has gotten a little bit darker. It's because now here we are in the middle of, or I guess we're at the beginning of May, with cloudy, rainy, icky skies, and I am not real thrilled about it. But yeah, so my lighting is a little bit darker because I film by natural light. Okay, so we're going to clean off our stamp. We're going to ink up in Moody Mauve, and we're going to stamp it again. So you get the point. Really simple. Now, let's say you don't have any background stamps in your stash, and they're just not something that you've ever had any interest in carrying. That's okay. You can take any stamps that you have in your arsenal that has images in it, and you can stamp your own background. Okay? You just have to make sure that you're stamping it all identical, which means you have to use some sort of stamp positioning tool. It has to be identical because when you go to cut out the image, it all has to line up so that when you swap it, it makes sense. It's like a continuous image. I hope that explanation makes sense to you. So here I am using the new nested, let me look at what these are called. I gotta grab my catalog. I think they're called the nested label dies. Nested Essentials dies. These are brand new. They have a stitched edge. They're super cute. There are rectangles that have rounded edges, kind of a diamond shape, and then tag or banner shapes, which I really like. So you can check that out. All of the links are below the video. There's a link that says measurements and supplies. If you click that link, it's going to take you over to my blog where you will find the measurements for everything I use, or everything I made, and then you'll also find the supply list. So if you want to get your hands on the supply list or measurements or any of that, make sure you go visit my blog. Link is below the video. Okay, so here we are going to swap out these 2, and look at this. Ta-da! Beautiful. I just love it. I think it's such a cool look. And then we're just going to glue these down. I'm going to glue this one, the Moody Mauve one, down to Moody Mauve cardstock. And I'm going to glue the Wild Wheat one down to Wild Wheat cardstock. And then we're just going to finish this whole card, both of these cards off with sentiments along with the other 2 and some embellishments. So let's get into some story time because that's what Saturday's all about. Am I right? Yes. Story time. What is happening this week? Well, let's see. We have same old, guys. There's really nothing earth-shattering or new happening this week. We have nearly run out of pig food, and I've ordered more, and it's taking some delay getting it. So we are using a supplement, a different one for them. So that happened this week. I also have had some other really exciting stuff happen with my stamping journey. I can't quite share yet, so you're going to have to stay tuned for that. But something's coming. So next week will be one announcement, and then there'll be another announcement after that. Here are the cards, and these are upside down, and I don't realize it till I go to open them. So, yeah, that's what's happening there. Stampin' Up! Sent the gifts for people who earned the trip to Norway. So I earned that trip last year. It is required by law that I say right here that less than 1% of the demonstrator base earns these trips. Okay, that's required that I tell you that. And that is just to say I got that package, and there was a beautiful rolling pin inside this package. I am very excited about using it for the first time. So hopefully if anybody's watching who also earned the trip, who hasn't gotten their box yet, I just realized I probably did a spoiler alert. Oh, sorry. I won't describe any further than that. By the way, we're using the Wonderful Thoughts bundle here. This is one of the bundles for the paper party that I'm going to be doing. Paper party sold out, but you can still get virtual access. So if you want virtual access to see all of the projects and the PDF and all of the things, you have two ways to get it. You can either subscribe to the Creative Vault for $14.95, and it will be provided for you in there in June. Or option 2 is you can purchase access to the event, which will also give you access to the giveaways and to the Facebook group, and that's $45. So I will link to both of those options below in case you feel like you missed out and you really want to be there with us. Of course, we would love to have you. And if you have questions about Paper Party or what it is or any of that, you can let me know. Okay, so Nala, our horse, is doing well. She has been having some problem with her feet. Her feet are a little bit sore. So Macy hasn't got to work with her quite as much as she would like. But all in due time. There is a reason for her feet being sore. Unfortunately, she just kind of, in her past experience, she was kept in a stall and wasn't moved around very much. Her feet didn't naturally wear down. They didn't have them trimmed. So it just, it caused some problems. So that's happening. But she's getting better little at a time. What else is going on? Nothing. I was supposed to do a yard sale this coming weekend. But at the time you're watching this, I was supposed to do it Friday, Saturday. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's supposed to rain on Saturday, and I am not standing out in the rain or trying to figure out how to cover stuff up to have a yard sale. So this whole yard sale thing may just be a total bust. We'll see. I'm probably going to pull the neighbors because we did it as like a block party thing, like where multiple people would put stuff out. But now I'm like, decisions were made, and now I'm thinking, shoot, we're supposed to have rain and it's supposed to be cold. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. We'll find out. We'll see what happens. Okay, so here I felt like these spiral die ones were just a little busy and the sentiment kind of got lost. So this little heart is one of the dies in the Wonderful Thoughts set. And I thought, okay, well, if I cut this out and put the sentiment on top of it, maybe it'll help break up that busy background a little bit. And it does help some, but I feel like it's not enough. It's not horrible. And in person, to be honest, it looks even better than it does on camera. So I'm not in love with it, but I don't hate it. So I went with it. And it's a thinking of you card. Just simple, sweet sentiment. Here I decided to pop up the heart and glue the sentiment flat, which I think looks better than gluing the heart flat and popping up the sentiment. So you just have to kind of play around with stuff like that. Okay, also it helps that the Moody Mauve is against, some of it is against the Wild Wheat. And I also changed the placement of the sentiment on this one. It's a little more appealing to the eye, I feel like. So, you know, like I said, you just got to play around with things, do it the way you want to do it. But I think it ended up looking really nice. So all of that, we're going to add embellishments, is to say there's really nothing earth-shattering that I have to share with you. I keep hoping for a really fun, funny, good story time session with you guys. Like something to happen in the week that is just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell them about this. But life is pretty dull right now, and I'm not going to complain, you know? No news is good news, so they say. So we're going to roll with that for now. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, work's going good for husband. He did go out on the new boat last weekend, and he caught several catfish. So that's exciting because we were completely out of catfish. So that restocks our freezer with catfish. So I'm excited about that. I think we're going to be going out on the boat again in May at some point, maybe over Mother's Day weekend. And that's it. There's really nothing else new. Okay, so these cards are almost finished. And here I'm just trying to decide what embellishments to add. At the time of me filming and voiceovering this video, I still had not got all of my new products from Stampin' Up! With the new catalog release. But I am learning to not wait until the last minute to film my videos, because what happens is if something happens, like I get sick, my child gets sick, whatever, life, anything happens, then I get behind and I don't get videos up for you guys. And so that's not good. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments below what you're excited about that's in the new Stampin' Up! Catalog. If there's something I have, I'll try to incorporate it in. I hope you enjoyed this technique. Make sure to try it out and share it with me. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.